Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Today we are going to study a new topic of business studies, that is forms of business organization. So, on the basis of ownership, there are six categories of organizations: sole trader, proprietorship, private limited company, public limited company, cooperative, state owned companies, that is government owned, and so on. So, first one is sole proprietorship. What is the meaning of sole? Sole means single. It means a business that is owned, financed, and controlled by a single person who is recipient of all the profit and bearer of all the risk. He is the only person who will bear the risk of his business. Features of the sole proprietorship business are single ownership. It is we have already learned, like it is wholly owned by a single individual. Control control uh, if there is one person who is owning the business, who is handling the business, who is financing the business, then he is the only one who has the power to make the decisions for his company. Third one, no separate legal entity. Legally there is no difference between business and the businessman. The person, like the proprietor and the business, is considered as the same person. Unlimited liability. Unlimited liability means liability of the owner, liability of the proprietor is unlimited. It means if in case the assets of business are not sufficient to meet its debt, the personal property of the owner can be sued or used to pay off the debts, to pay off his, to recover his debts. No legal formalities. To start a sole proprietorship business, no legal formality is required to start, manage, or dissolve such business organization. Sole risk bearer, we have already read, like he is the only person who will bear all the losses, who will bear all the risk, and nobody is going to share. He is not sharing any profit or losses with anyone. And these sole proprietorship business are suitable in the areas of personalized service, where we have to give a personalized service to someone, like the beauty parlors, hair cutting saloons, and small scale activities like retail shops. Going on further, these are the merits of sole proprietorship. Single ownership. Single ownership, we have already read, it is wholly owned by one individual. There is no interference of any other person. No sharing of profit and loss. He is the only bearer of profits and losses. He is not liable to pay anyone else. One man's capital. He is the only one who will bear all the losses, who will bear all the profits. He is the only one uh, who will give the money to start off the business. Like he is the only one who is going to invest the capital in the business. Unlimited liability. Liability of the owner is unlimited. In case the assets of business are not sufficient to meet its debt, the personal property will be of the proprietor will be sued. Less legal formalities. According to other business firms, according to other business organizations, there are less legal formalities in the business, or we can say no legal formalities in the sole proprietorship. One man control. There is only a one man control in the business. uh, the proprietor who is investing the capital in the business is the only one who can take the decisions of his own company, and who will bear the risk or profit of the company, and he can make decisions on his own. Third, these are the limitations of the sole proprietorship. Unlimited liability, like if there are two people, then the other person's personal property can be sued. But here, if if the capital or if the profits are not there, and if there are more debts, then the personal property can be sued. We have already read earlier. Limited life of a business concern. Limited life of the business concern means the life of the proprietor, as in the death, insolvency, or illness of a proprietor, is not certain. It is uncertain, and it can affect the business or can lead to its closure. Limited managerial skills. If there is a single person, if there is a single proprietor, sole trader, he can't be good in all the aspects of business. He can't be good. Maybe he can be good in marketing or in HR, but he can't be good in all the fields, and he can't afford to employ experts also, because he investing the money with which he can afford. Limited resources, there will be limited financial resources. Funds will be limited because the owner's personal savings and his borrowing capacity is limited. Coming on to the next, that is joint Hindu family business. Joint Hindu family business is the one which is owned by the members of undivided joint Hindu family, and it is managed by the eldest member of the family. It may be a father, who is the elder in the home, or it could be a grandfather, a grandmother, and that person is known as karta. It is governed by the provisions of Hindu law, uh, and how we could become a member of this business. The basis of membership is basically the birth in a particular family. If you are born in that family, then you have to be the part of that joint Hindu family business. Here are some features of joint Hindu family business. First one is formation. For a joint Hindu family business, there should be at least two members in a family, and there should be some ancestral property that could be inherited by them to run the business. Second one is membership by birth. There are two systems which can govern the membership of them. First one is Dayabhaga, and second one is Mittakshara. In Dayabhag system, it allows both male and female members to become the co-partners in the business, and this system prevails in West Bengal. And in Mitakshara system, it prevails all over the India except West Bengal, and it allows only male members to be the co-partners. Third one is liability. Liability of the karta is unlimited, and the other members have limited liability. Like the unlimited liability of the karta means karta's property can be sued to pay off to recover the debts, but not the uh, property of members. Fourth one is continuity. Continuity means the business is not affected by death of or incapacity of karta. If karta is no more, or he is unable to work, then the business is not affected in that case. In such cases, if the karta is will die or something like that, the next senior male member will become the karta. Fifth one is minor members. Minor member can become the member of family business in a full-fledged manner. Next is merits of joint Hindu family business. First one is effective control. The karta can take decisions as he has the absolute decision making power. Nobody else in the family, nobody else except karta can take the decisions of the company, of that business. Second, continued business existence. The death, lunacy, or illness of Karta will not affect the business. We have already done this earlier. As the eldest member will, as the next elder member, male member will take the place of Karta. Third is limited liability. Limited liability is the liability of all the members except Karta is limited. It gives them a relief because they don't have to give their personal property. Their personal property is not at stake. Fourth one is secrecy. Secrecy, complete secrecy regarding business decisions can be maintained by Karta. Karta maintains all the secrecy of the business because he is the sole person who can who has the right to make the decisions. loyalty, and cooperation. It helps in securing better cooperation and loyalty from from all the members who run the business, because they are the part of a single family. Demerits of joint Hindu business. First one is limited capital. Limited capital means there is a shortage of capital as it is limited to the ancestral property, because they can only use their ancestral property in this business. And second one is unlimited liability of Karta. Uh, like only Karta has the liability to pay off the debt from his personal uh, property. Dominance of Karta. Karta is dominant in during managing the business, and he ignores the valuable advice of other members, and this may lead to the conflicts among the members and may lead to breakdown of the family limit. Hasty decisions. As Karta is overburdened with the work, he may take unbalanced decisions because he has the only power and he has the sole right to make the decisions. Limited managerial skills of Karta. There should it could be a serious problem as the joint Hindu family business is on decline, because number of joint Hindu families in the country are diminishing, and the limit and the maybe the Karta could have the limited managerial skills. He could manage something, but he couldn't be able to manage everything. Third one is partnership. Partnership is a voluntary association which is formed by two or more persons who carry on some business jointly to share its profits and losses. Features of partnership. There are two or more persons. There must be at least two persons to form a partnership business, and the maximum number of persons in banking business is 10, and in non-banking businesses 20. Agreement. It, it is an outcome of an agreement among partners, which may be in oral or written. It is the choice of partners whether they want the agreement in oral form or in written form. But many of the persons agree to have written agreement. Lawful business formed it can be formed only for the purpose of carrying on some lawful business which is good in the eye of law. Decision making and control. Every partner has a right to participate in the management and decision making uh, thing of the organization, as they all have the equal percent of share, and they have the equal right to participate in the management. Unlimited liability. All the partners who are having who are the part all the persons who are the partner in the business have the unlimited liability, whether they are 2 or 10, doesn't matter, they all have unlimited liability. If they need to pay some debts of the business, their personal property can also be sued. Lack of continuity. Firm's existence, uh, firm's existence is affected by the death, lunacy, and insolvency of any of its partners. It suffers from lack of continuity. If any of these happen, they need to make a new agreement, and they need to start a new company again and start a new basis, new agreement. And one more is mutual agency. Every partner is an implied agent of other firm. Every partner is liable to for acts performed by other partners on behalf of the firm. If any of the partner is taking wrong decisions on the behalf of the firm, then all partners are liable for that. Merits of partnership. First one is ease of formation and closure. It can be easily formed. Partnership business can be easily formed by an agreement among the but the agreement among the partners is required. Second one is larger financial resources. There are more funds as capital as it is contributed by number of partners. Balanced decisions. As decisions are taken jointly by partners after consulting each other, the decisions are balanced. Sharing of risk. Risk get distributed among the partners, which reduces burden and stress on an individual person. And this happens in sole proprietorship. As there is only a single person, the risk is only on an individual partner. Next is secrecy. Secrecy can be easily maintained as they are not required to publish their accounts or file any report to the government. Next is demerits of partnership. First one is limited resources. There is a restriction on the number of partners, and that's why the capital contributed by them is also limited. Unlimited liability, second one. The liability of the partner is unlimited as they are liable individually as well as jointly. Lack of continuity. We have already read this earlier. Partnership comes to an end if there any partner has is suffering from any disease or lunacy or insolvency or retirement. Lack of public confidence. Partnership firms are not required to publish their reports and accounts, thus they lack to the public confidence. Thank you. We will continue in the next class.